and welcome to Starlight Stories. I'm your host, Renita Boyle, resident storyteller of the Wigtown Festival Company. And tonight I am joined by three stellar storytellers. And I'm going to introduce you to them now. We have Susie Briggs, who is the author of Nip Nebs and has been award nominated. We have Pauline Cordiner from Aberdeen, fierce and wonderful. And we have Claire Hewitt, lovely, gentle, and with her harp. And we're going to enjoy their stories. For now, I have one for you. Under the moon, full and bright, glowing in the starry night, hair lies stretched on the ground, alert to every smell and sound. And there on the hill, hair lies so still until her ears are up, her eyes are wide. Hair, what do you see? I see Fox. But does Fox see me? Fox has not been spied. So there on the hill, hair lies so still until her ears are up, her eyes are wide. Hair, what do you see? I see Stoat. But does Stoat see me? Hair has not been spied. There on the hill, hair lies so still until her ears are up, her eyes are wide. Hair, what do you see? I see Snake. But does Snake see me? Hair has not been spied. And there on the hill, hair lies so still until her ears are up, her eyes are wide. Hair, what do you see? I see Hawk. But does Hawk see me? Hawk flies by. Hair has not been spied. And there on the hill, hair lies so still. Her ears are up, her eyes are wide. Hair, what do you see? I see you. But do you see me? Under the moon, full and bright, glowing in the starry night, hair darts off through the night. Good night, hair. Good night. Make a wish and blow a kiss and listen to a story from Pauline.
Hi, thank you very much, Renita. That was lovely. Well, like ladies and gentlemen, girls and boys, and everybody else out there in the world, I've got a story for you about the moon. Same moon that Renita's hair was underneath. Now, the moon has always been loved by us down here on Earth, and she was up in the sky. And she watches down on us every night as she bathes our earth in her silver light. And one night, Moon looked down and she looked upon all of her humans and she heard from a tiny, tiny place and one spot upon the globe, out on the fens, there was a village. Now, for those of you that don't know what the fens are, can you imagine bogs, marshes, swamps, black, oily liquids, ground that is so wet that if you were to step on them, soon you would be sucked down and down and down beneath forever. They're dangerous places, but this was dangerous more than most. She looked down on the village and she saw that they were singing about her. They were singing her praises and they were worshipping her. In fact, as she peered down and saw all of those tiny peoples, men, women, children, everybody else, the whole village was there and they were looking at her. And she smiled down and she wondered to herself, why? Why does this one village love me so? Now, between you and me, the reason was this. This village was in stable land. It was surrounded by the fens. During the day, when the sun was out, they were safe. But at night, when it grew dark, that was when they came. The boggarts, the bogles, the evil, creeping, crawling, sneaking things. But these things, which might try and grab you and pull you down, down into the bog, they were afraid of the light. So during the day, they stayed hidden in the dark, gloopy gloom. And the moon, on the nights when she shone full, they could live their lives as normal. You could more or less walk through the paths that went through the fens and be unharmed. That was why they loved her. Oh yes, you could not trust these things because on a dark, gloomy winter's day, if you were a child out on the fens and you stepped maybe into a shadow, then maybe you would see long yellow claws reaching out for your cloak. But the people knew to stay away from the fens in the dark. The moon, she was mystified. Why did these people love her more than anyone else on her world? And one night when she was at her fullest, she decided she would go down and find out. And she took a cloak of the starlit sky and she wrapped it about herself so that only her face showed. And she came down onto our earth, into the middle of the fens. And she crept closer and closer and closer to the village. But of course, the moonlight was no longer in the sky. Immediately, as soon as she had come down, the fens got dark, and that was when they came. She could hear wicked cackles. She could hear screeches and screams as they realized what had happened. They sensed her going past. Their hands reached out, a root crossing the path. tripped up her feet and she fell down onto the path, and immediately they were upon her. The boggarts and the bogle and the creeping witch things pulled her into the dark, oily darkness, and they pushed her down, thinking, we have got her, we will bury the moon. A man had been visiting his new baby grandson at one of the fishing villages on the other side of the fens. He belonged to the village and he knew that this was a night when the moon was full and he could walk safely home. But suddenly it had got dark. He had no lantern with him and he cried out, "Help! Help! Is there anybody there? Is there anyone who can give me light? I fear they will get me." Hearing his voice, the moon knew that she had to save him. Using all of her strength, she tried to throw off the many creatures that were pushing her down. And when she did that, she managed to throw the hood off her face, and there was just a chink of beautiful silver starlight lit the man's way, and crying thanks, he ran safely home to the village. But immediately more of the creatures pounced upon her. They had been waiting for generations, and they pushed her down. And on top of her, they put a big stone, one that had been standing proud. They crushed her down into the bog. And they put 2 will-o'-the-wisps standing at the end to act as guards, and there she lay. The next night, the moon did not rise. Or the night after that, or the night after that, or the night after that. And soon the people started to wonder what had happened to her. She just vanished. This was not a cloudy sky at night. You could see the stars, but their moon was not there. They went to see the wise old woman. In other times, they might have called her a witch, but no, they needed her now. And the villagers, man, woman, and child, they gathered round her. As she took some of the water from the bog, she dropped it into her cauldron, and she gazed upon it, and she said, one of you has seen, one of you knows. And it was then that the man who had been to visit his grandson, he said, the night that she vanished, I was walking through the bogs. It had gone dark, and I called for help. And all of a sudden, there was this shaft of moonlight. It was so beautiful. It led my way home. It saved me. Then you must take us to this place, said the old woman. You must take us there. And looking back into her cauldron, she said, I see a coffin, a cross, and a candle. That is where she will be. But when you go together, go as one. And you must all take torches, leave the old people and the children at home, for they are our future if you do not return. And that night, all of the people, they got torches, sticks with oily rags wrapped around them. They set fire to them, and that man, that grandfather, he led them deep into the fens, and that was where they saw them. 2 will-o'-the-wisps flickering. 2 will-o'-the-wisps flickering, lighting the way, and they saw an old tree twisted into the shape of a cross. And they knew, and they said, now we must look for the coffin. The coffin was the stone which they had put down upon the moon. And with the people making a circle around this place, holding the torches, some of them started to push and push at the stone. Everywhere that they were darkness, out reached the bogles, out reached the boggarts, but they were not to be beaten, these villagers. And soon they had it pushed enough, sliding through the darky muck, that they saw a hand, and that hand was so beautiful it glittered. It was the hand of the moon. And they reached out for the hand, still with the ones round the edge beating off the beasts with their torches. They pulled her out. She staggered to her feet. And the oldest one of all, that grandfather, he reached forth and he pulled back her hood. And they saw her. They saw that she was the moon. And she smiled and she looked around at them all. And she said, "Now I know. Now I know why you love me so much." The beasts, they were terrified. Such beautiful light shone from her face and also from her heart. And they retreated into that fen, perhaps never to rise again. And as for the moon, well, she lifted herself up at that very moment and returned to the sky. And people all around the world, from that day onwards, they thought to themselves, that moon, it's shining brighter than ever before. Now, the people on the fen, they said to themselves, she's shining brighter because she knows that we need her. But I know the truth. And the truth is, we all shine brighter when we know that we are loved. And that is the story of the buried moon. So I hope you enjoyed it. Thank you very much for listening.
Brilliant. Thank you so much, Pauline. What a great story. All right. Now, Dark Sky Lullaby. Come and sing into the night. Celebrate the dark skies. Make a wish upon a star underneath the moonlight. Spread your wings and you can fly. Sing a starlit lullaby. Echo of the dark skies. Softly sighing tales of old, coracle of seasons. Lay your head upon your dreams, tuck up into moonbeams. Find a star to guide your way, home to ancient Galloway. Echo of the dark skies. Misty whispers of the wind, ebb and flow of moontide, drifting on the tides of dawn, sleepy as the sunrise, trill your song across the bay, feathers of a brand new day, echo of the dark skies. Let's make a wish and blow a kiss. And welcome Susie to tell a story.
Hello, that was a pretty song, Renita. That was lovely.
Thank you.
Okay, I'm going to tell you a story. I'm going to recite Nip Nips for you. This is a story from my book. So I'm going to play a little bit of music. The music is by Alan McClure. Okay. Goodbye in the shadows of the pale moonlight. The rake's about a canty wee sprick, wi' his caul breath and his poke through skinkles. He garbs o' things wi' a licksome prinkle. Now, maybe's you've seen him diddle-daddling out in the crumpshy snaw, crump, 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 or strinkling icy drops on the spiderwebs, strinkle, strinkle, strinkle. Maybe's you've seen him hanging shockles off the spigot, chitter, 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 and painting the windies wi' a glisk of forests and ferns, swish, 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 or skating full pelt o'er the puddles, whee! Mind, if you have seen him, you best wear warm claes or nip-nibs will come and he'll crinkle your tails. He'll make your teeth chitter and turn your cheeks red. He'll tug at your lugs and he'll nip at your nib. Nip, nip. So come away in and get nice and cozy and sit by the fire and I'll tell you a story. Can't hear you. Can't hear you. That's
Okay.
better. Gotcha.
I am just wondering what Nip Nebs does in the summertime.
Ooh, I have been asked that. I have been asked that before. I think you might go up and see Santa and have a nice little bit of a holiday.
Thank you, Susie. It was beautiful. Thank you very much. We're having a bit of a moon theme tonight. So tonight, this is a poem called All the Moon Long. The pieces you've heard me read tonight are mine, just so you know. Okay. All the moon long, this quiet thing happened. A heron skimmed the surface of my dreams, shimmered on twilight's silken beams, landed on this moment. All the moon long, in the hush, hush, hush of the reeds, its pearly gaze glistened. A heron skimmed the surface of my dreams, gifted me peace on whispered flight all the moon long. A thread of glass beads adorned the sky on wings of peace. A heron skimmed the surface of my dreams, rising and falling on the feathers of sleep. This quiet thing happened all the moon long. A heron skimmed the surface of my dreams. Make a wish and blow a kiss, and let us welcome Claire.
Oh, that was beautiful. So, winging your way into the land of dreams, underneath the canopy of the stars and the moon, a lullaby for this earth that we live on. This was written by children and myself in local schools around where I live in Aberfeldy. And it's a prayer for the earth. Swans and swift, air sweet gift, crow and car, eagle soar, all that flies and all that swims, all that walks and all things crawling, all that flows and all that grows, all things big and all things small. Listen, listen, the earth is singing. Listen, listen, can you hear? Listen, listen, the earth is calling. Listen, listen to her song. Butterflies and bees dancing in the sunlight, moths, owls and bats, swinging on a moonbeam. All the flies and all that swims, all that walks, and all things crawling, all that flows, and all that grows, all things big and all things small. Listen, listen, the earth is singing. Listen, listen, can you hear? Listen, listen, the earth is singing. Listen, listen to her song. Listen, 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 listen. Each and every one of us can look up when the sky is clear of clouds on a dark, dark night. And each and every one of us can see the stars and the moon and the planets twinkling and shining their beautiful light to all of us humans and all the creatures of this earth below. Now, there are many stories about the constellations of the stars. And the tiny wee baby story that I'm going to tell you here is from Finland. Now, if you look up into the sky, even in the north of the world, even the south of the world, you will see the Big Dipper. You will see Ursa Major, the great bear, and Ursa Minor, the wee bear. And the story goes that once upon a time, no bears lived on this earth. But way up in the heavens, the first of the bears were born, a wee baby bear, between the sun and the moon, upon the shoulders of the great bear. Now this wee bear, he was a little mischievous bear, he was. So his father, a sky god, told him that he mustn't go anywhere. He mustn't play with the sunbeams. He mustn't play with the starlight. He mustn't run with the celestial winds. Oh no, he had to stay in a tiny, tiny hide house and not get up to any kind of mischief. So there he stayed, and he would peek out now and then. Oh, one evening, he saw a huge herd of horses chasing over the Milky Way. Oh, he couldn't help himself, could he? And he crept out and he thought, my father won't see me. And he crept out and into the yard and then followed the herd of horses across the sky. Suddenly he stopped. For where the horses had been galloping across the Milky Way, one of them had trodden quite heavily and opened up a huge hole in the clouds. And the little bear looked down through this hole in the clouds, and what he saw below amazed him. He could see the earth. He could see the oceans and the rivers. He could see the forests. And he wanted so much to go to that place. but also he could smell something beautiful coming up drifting up from the earth, a smell of fruit and apples and pears, but he didn't have the names for it like I have. It was just beautiful and it called him. So he went running back to his wee house and he went straight to his father and he said, "Father, I know I've been a naughty bear. I know that I've been chasing the horses this evening, but I saw something that I've never seen before. Please, will you let me go down to earth?" And his father kept saying, "No, no, no." And every night the bear dreamt of fruit, apples and pears and berries, and the eating of it. And one night he went to his father again. And his father said, "If you are dreaming of this place so much, then I will send you to the earth." So his father made a long chain of iron and a cradle of gold. And putting the bear into it, he lowered him down to the earth. The wind blew the cradle this way and that, but finally it landed in the middle of a deep, ancient forest of pines and birches. And little bear stepped out, and he smelt the good earth beneath his paws, and he heard the birds singing, and he looked up at the dark night sky and knew where he had come from. And Tapio, the god of the forest, his daughter, Mieliki, beautiful Mieliki, she heard the little growling cub-like bear's voice and went straight to him and cradled him in her arms and looked after him with sweet honey and apples and berries until he was a full-grown bear. And that is the tale of how the first bear came to be on our beautiful earth.
How wonderful. Thank you so very much. It's just beautiful. I feel very lulled and very privileged. I'd like to thank everyone for coming along tonight. If you'd all like to come back. I'd like to thank Claire and Pauline and Susie for your very, very great gift to us tonight, and your stories and your song and a good night's sleep, we hope. Just
Thank
fun.
you. Thank you for having us along, everybody.
Yeah, thank you.
Just
Yes,
wonderful.
thank you very much.
If you'd like to know anything more about these stellar tellers, I thought that was cool.
I like that.
Know anything more about our
Stellar
stellar
Teller.
you can find them on the Live Lit database for Scottish Book Trust, and you can also find them on the Scottish Storytelling Directory. And I know they all are very able and willing, as are we all, to come along to your school or your event when we can meet in person, but they're all working online too. And I think you will agree that we've had a lovely bedtime storytelling tonight. Give them all a twinkly star, and I'm going to say a blessing before you sleep. Tick follows talk on the clock on the wall. Sweet dreams like postcards begin to fall through the letterbox. Hydraulic moon, sandwich claustrophobic between never, never and soon. Hush, my sweet babies, novice of night. Hush now, caressed by boundless delight. For threads on the web, dew spindled drop down, and fairies do swing. And soft are their kisses upon your sweet face, as surely as wishes are carried by grace. Sweet dreams, everyone. Thanks for coming to Starlight Stories.